Technically, your house is an investment, but your house is also costing you money every single month. It's not just the mortgage, it's the insurance, the property taxes, the water heater that breaks, the roof that needs replacing. You're paying to hold that asset. In investing, that's called negative carry. Now, what if I told you there are assets that pay you to hold them? Assets where just by owning them, money flows into your account each month. That's positive carry. And understanding this concept is one of the keys of how the biggest hedge funds in the world generate consistent returns. Today, I'm going to break down what carry is, when it works, when it blows up, and how to think about it in our multi-strategy hedge fund approach. For those of you new here, my name is Mark Anderson, construction worker turned zero DT and multi-strategy hedge fund manager. In my last video, I talked about the 4 environments that determine what works in your portfolio. I mentioned that in growth and inflation environments, which is where we are now, carry strategies tend to work really, really well. But I didn't explain it fully what carry actually is, so let's fix that. Carry is the return you get or the cost you pay just from holding something over time. That's it. No trading required, no buying low and selling high, just holding. Your house, you pay property insurance, you pay for repairs, you pay for property taxes. Every single month, money flows out just because you own it. A house is a depreciating asset that has a useful purpose of you living in it. Your car is the same. Depreciation, maintenance, insurance, negative carry. Cash under your mattress, inflation eats it away, negative carry. A bond, it pays you interest. Every month, money flows in just because you own it. That's positive carry. A dividend stock, it pays you quarterly, positive carry. The S&P 500 actually has about a 1% carry from the dividends of the index. A rental property, if your rent exceeds your cost, positive carry. So far, pretty simple, but here's where it gets interesting. In the commodity world, carry takes on a different form. It's called futures yield or roll yield. Here's how it works. Let's say you're Exxon. You produce oil, you know you're going to have millions of barrels to sell in 6 months from now, but you don't know what the price will be. Maybe it's $80 today, maybe it's 60 in 6 months, maybe it's 100. That uncertainty is a problem. It actually affects your financing. It affects your planning and it affects your stock price. So what do you do now? You sell a futures contract. You lock in the price today for oil that you'll deliver later. So let's say you lock it in at $75. Now you have certainty. You know exactly what you're getting. And the certainty is worth something to you. Here's the key. Exxon is willing to sell the future at a discount to the current price. They're giving up potential upside in exchange for certainty. And here's someone on the other hand of that trade, like a hedge fund, a speculator, or a carry trader. And they're happy to take on that risk because over time, those discounted futures tend to converge to the spot price. The carry trader pockets that difference. Think of it like this. A bird in the hand is worth 2 in the bush. This is what I mean when I say carry trades are getting paid to provide liquidity. Producers and hedgers are willing to pay for certainty. Carry traders collect that payment. When in the front month, a futures contract is $70 and in the back month, it's $65, that is called backwardation and has a $5 roll yield. You are making $5 without the price moving at all from rolling it from the front month to the back month. You went from owning a $70 future contract in the front month to owning a $65 future contract in the next month. You made $5 from holding it from one month to the next. This is common in booming commodity markets and hot economies when the price of an asset is high or inventories are currently low. This is another form of carry and it's been around forever, currency carry. Here's the concept. Different countries have different interest rates. Japan has had near zero interest rate for decades. The US has had higher rates. So what if you borrowed money in Japan at nearly 0% and then invested it in US bonds paying 4%? You pocket the difference. That's currency carry. Now here's the risk here. If the yen strengthens against the dollar, your gains will get wiped out. This is exactly what happened in August of 2024 when the yen carry trade unwinded. A lot of people got hurt. But over the long periods, currency carry has a consistent source of returns. You're getting paid for taking on currency risk that other people don't want or the government is enticing you to take. Here's the thing about carry strategies. They're not always appropriate. Going back about 100 years of research, this comes from AQR, one of the most respected quant firms in the world. Carry strategies work best when inflation is above 2.5% and GDP growth is above 3%. Why? Because in this environment, there's real demand for commodities. People are building things, data centers need copper, the economy needs energy, there's demand for real assets. And when there's demand, producers want to lock in the price. They're willing to pay for certainty. That's when carry returns come from. Right now, we're in that environment. Inflation is above 2.5%, strong GDP growth, and demand for real assets like copper, energy, gold, and silver. Currency debasement is also driving people to own hard assets. This is a very good time to have carry exposure in your portfolio. But here's what you need to understand. Carry is not a set and forget strategy. In certain environments, carry gets absolutely destroyed. In 2008, the economy collapsed. No one was buying gas, no one was building anything, demand for commodities evaporated. Carry strategies were down 60, 70, or even 80%. In 2020, the same thing. COVID hit, the economy stopped, commodities crashed, carry strategies got smoked. Here's the pattern. When you go from inflation to deflation, and when demand disappears, carry gets inverted. Everything that was good is about to become bad. The producers who were paying to take that risk, they don't need to hedge anymore. There's no demand and the premium disappears. This is why carry is not 100% of your portfolio, and this is why you need to understand what environment you're currently in. So how do you think about carry in a multi-strategy approach? First, it's only a slice, not the whole pie. We typically allocate around 5% to carry strategies. It's a tool, not a replacement for equities. And then second, we monitor the environment. If inflation is above 2.5%, if GDP growth is above 3%, if there's backwardation in the commodities market, that's a green light for carry. We look at these signals every month before the futures contracts roll. Third, we know when to get out. If we can see when deflation is coming, if we can see when demand is collapsing, we reduce exposure to these carry strategies that invert. The average investor who buys a commodity ETF and holds it forever, they'll do fine for years. And then 2008 happens and they're down 80%. They did not understand the environment. We're trying to capture the good years and sidestep the disasters. That's the multi-strat mindset. For those of you wondering how this is actually implemented, there are ETFs that give you exposure to carry. For example, return stacking has a product, RSSY, that contains S&P 500 exposure as well as futures yield. You can get your equity exposure and have your diversification from carry in one wrapper. There are also dedicated managed futures ETFs and commodity carry funds. I'm not here to recommend specific tickers. Do your own research, but these products exist and they're a lot more accessible than they used to be. This used to be an institutional level only strategy. Now it's available to everyone. The key is understanding what you own, when it works, not just buying it because it sounded sophisticated. Buy it because you understand the environment and it fits your allocation. My goal with these videos is simple. Help thoughtful investors see the mechanics behind markets more clearly. If you found this useful, hit the like button so we know to make more content like this, and subscribe so you don't miss the next breakdown. I'd love to hear from you. What's the biggest question you still have about carry strategies or futures yield? Drop it in the comments below and we'll shape our future episodes around it. And if you want to go deeper into this type of stuff, watch the next video of the 4 environments where we dig into each strategy and why it works. I'll see you guys in the next one.